Every single being currently on this planet has something in common. We each have been given 24 hours every single day that we're here. What we do with those hours, it is what actually differentiates us from each other. And that's what we're going to be talking about on today's podcast, Time's Up, Honoring Your Time. Hi, I'm Cheri Ruskus here. And last month, we spent our time talking a lot here on the Bright Shiny Object Project podcast about the importance of confidence. So this month, we're looking at our time and how we may be effective or ineffective using it, which not only does increase our confidence, but gives us a lot more precious time each day. So let me ask you, how about you? Would you say that you're making the best use overall of the time that you've been given each day? And my goal here today is to give you some fuel for thought around the elements of your time. It definitely seems that the older we get, the faster the 24 hours in our days go by, wouldn't you say? I remember back in episode 148, not that long ago, we talked about morning momentum. And I talked about the importance of starting your day with a practice called Morning Momentum. I highly recommend that you go back and listen to it if you missed that podcast, and really about starting your day strongly, because when you can do something like that, you're really planning your day. We'll talk more about planning and how planning saves you time here as we go. And I just got back from California. My daughter lives out there, my son now too. And I was on grand puppy duty while they went on a trip. And my two grand puppies have a schedule of their own. Didn't really kind of mesh with mine. I was at my daughter's house. I was out of sync. And I tell you, for like 6 days, I did not get my morning momentum in. I did it a little bit when I was walking the dogs, because I did that a lot. They live in the city and the dogs have to be walked to go do their business every morning. And it really changed my outlook in the day. I found myself a little grouchier, just a little unsettled each day. And so it's interesting. This morning, when I got home late yesterday, this morning, I got back to my momentum spot that I have here in the house, and I just feel so much better having done that. It's just good for my heart and soul. So that's, first of all, I just want to remind you about that. And, you know, people who know me know I talk about morning momentum all the time because it's just so important. All right. So with that talked about, let me ask you a question. What is it that sucks your time? I mean, just those time sucks that you just can make us crazy because we know that our time is being wasted. They make you want to scream sometimes. I don't know about you, but it does make me want to scream because it's robbing my precious time. And I don't think anything annoys me more than that. And that, you know, someone else's time, and in cases their money, becomes more important than your time and money because of what they're doing. And I really want you to think about, like, how many times do you go to bed at night that you know your time's up, you didn't get to do what you wanted to do in that day because of time sucks. So looking at that and understanding that a little bit better, and really looking at, you know, when you look at other companies that you maybe do business with that suck your time because they offer little to no customer service. And for me, I came up in the ranks of customer service, so it's so important to me. And to see how bad it's gotten, it's just from people not having the English language down to being put on hold for hours at a time. We just went through an experience with Nordic Track. I'm going to call them out because they were so horrible. We had bought in 2020, we had bought a Nordic Track bicycle, and in October, the panel went out for the TV to work with the bike and to make the bike how it pivots, and we just got it replaced last Monday. And yeah, it's February. my poor husband, who really took the brunt of most of it, I'm telling you, hours on hold, hours and hours. Had somebody come out, oh, he can't get the part. We have to go back and order the part. It was crazy. It was all just so crazy. Another thing that I've just experienced, so that's somebody who you can get a hold of, but you've got to be on hold for a long time to do it. Then there's other situations, like my Facebook account just got hacked. Never had it happen before. I've been on Facebook since, whenever Facebook has been around. And to find a live human being has been impossible, just to go through their website and try to find it. Luckily, I knew someone who was helping me with something else from an advertising perspective. And so I think that person's going to help me solve this. But to tell you the amount of time that's been wasted doing this, it's incredible. Totally incredible. So it's looking at that. And again, looking as you go through your day, what is sucking your time dry? One element for sure, it's a critical component in business communications, but it's email, right? While I was in California, I did have some extra time, and I got my email back down to inbox 0. No emails in my inbox. Was able to put them in file folders. I try to do this at least once a quarter over the last couple of years, because I find that it's having something undone like that and never knowing that it's completed, not being able to complete something. And inbox 0 means you've completed it. You've put things where they need to go, whether you're deleting. And sometimes too, it's just unsubscribing from emails you never read, people that again, have no consideration for your time or money because they're trying to sell you something constantly. I always find it annoying when I sign up for something and then I start getting emails every, 2-3 times a day. Like, no good, doesn't work for me. I will unsubscribe. And I think when you work towards getting to inbox 0, it helps you to go, oh yeah, I need to unsubscribe from these people. I never read their email. And I send out my victory letter every Monday. And if somebody isn't getting any value out of it, they should unsubscribe from it, because I don't want to be filling somebody's inbox in with something that they don't want. Though it's hurtful, of course, but onward we go. So look at that and how much time your email even might be taking away from you, just because you look at an email 2, 3, 4 times, as opposed to when I get to inbox 0, I find that I start to be more efficient and I start to put stuff in file folders right away so that, I can find them if I need to go back. Because that's the other time suck, is that when you're trying to find an email that you need because of some business dealing, you can't find it. But if it's in their folder of, I have different categories and different people, like clients, all my clients' emails go in their folders, colleagues that I work with, partners that I work with will all go in their folders. And then sometimes there's categories like marketing or different things like that. So really look at how much time is email taking just because you keep going back in and in and in. So that is really important. And I know one of the things for me too, things like that, I've shared it on this show before. And one of the reasons that I started the Bright Shiny podcast is that the Bright Shiny Object podcast is that I was diagnosed with ADHD, which was no surprise to me. But what was a surprise is that there wasn't more information out there about it that I had easy, quick access to. And I'm discovering stuff all the time, and the bright, shiny objects that are good and the bright, shiny objects that are not so good because they're taking us down a path maybe we shouldn't be going down, and really controlling your time. And the problem with ADHD is that you start to spend, I call it the spinning, and you start to spend, which takes up more time. And things like an email inbox that's out of control, even your accounting, look at what is incomplete, because that will get you spending if you have ADHD. So how do you get things completed? Some facts about time I wanted to share with you today. One is that the average attention span of a human today is 8 seconds. 8 seconds. Now, a dozen years ago, it was 12 seconds. I don't know if those 4 seconds make a big difference, but that's not a whole lot of time. How quickly we can lose our attention span. One of the biggest culprits is these smartphones. I don't know who named it a smartphone. Was that Steve Jobs? Because sometimes they kind of dumb us down a little bit. Unfortunately, the average person spends about 2.1 hour a day on their smartphone. I think that's more. And if you get, some weeks I get my report and I go, that was a lot of time on my smartphone. And whether it's with social media, doing business, I mean, we can do so much business. That's why I tell my husband, he's like, are you on your phone again? I'm like, but you don't get it. I do a lot of business on my phone, whether it's texting with clients or, doing my email on my phone, etc. But looking at that and how does that work for you? Because one of the problems with the phone, as with many things, is the whole dopamine rush we get when we're checking our Instagram or whatever. So we do have to be a little bit careful about it. And so a few fun facts around that is that 67% of people would check their smartphone on a date. I haven't dated in a really long time, but I know if I'm out on a date with my husband, I don't even think about it because it just annoys the heck out of them. And it's you're not being in the moment. Let's be real. 45% of the people that were surveyed would do it at a movie and 33% in church. Can you imagine? All right. So let's talk about with that, how it forces us to multitask, right? We're doing many things like on the phone. I don't know how quickly you go around, but multitasking can drop your productivity by 40%. And it has been known to lower your IQ by 10%. And I know, especially as women, we just are multitasking queens, sometimes out of necessity because there is so much to be done. But perhaps we could look at how to cut the multitasking back some. And I have really been trying to focus on that as of late. There is something called the Pomodoro technique that I always like to talk about, in that it's a way to say, can I stay focused for 25 minutes? And so it's an idea that you work specifically on a project or task for 25 minutes. You have the Pomodoro is a tomato in Italian. So it's like the little tomato timer. And so you would time it. The tomato timer is probably better than your phone because your phone's going to distract you. And then you take 5 minutes off and then put another 25 minutes in. But I would highly encourage that you try that just to see how much, even if it's 10 minutes, how much, if I just focus for 10 minutes, could I get done if you're working on whatever particular project? Another thing to think about is most of us don't have enough time for the tasks that we need to get done. Right. So we're always saying, oh, I'll get to that tomorrow because I just don't have time today. So when we keep adding more and more to our plate, telling others how busy we are, don't you love it when we ask people, how are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm so busy. Okay, great. Well, what does that mean? Tell me more. What is it that you can do to really look at the time and realize, and especially for those of you of the entrepreneurial persuasion, those of you who are running small businesses, really look at what you're doing. And I have this time for income chart that I use with my clients that, each week gives us 168 hours. So if you begin to explore because that's, as you look at it, that sounds like a lot of time, right? But the things that we do that we don't get paid to do is to eat, for the most part. Maybe there are people out there who do get paid to eat, which would be nice. We sleep. If we're having optimum health, we do that 8 hours a day. We do exercise and outdoor activities. If we can do at least 30 minutes a day of that, it's very good for our bodies. We watch TV, that there's that time that happens, that whether you're binge watching or just watching a movie or YouTube or whatever, but there's that entertainment factor. So that takes up some of our time. There is what I was talking about before, the phone time, the social media time, which can, be a big time suck all in together, and all kinds of entertainment that we might find ourselves doing. Education, inspirational activities like reading, maybe listening to podcasts, all good things, but they take time. We might have hobbies that we want to do and that we get into in the summertime. My big time suck that I love is gardening, and it takes up a lot of my time. Time with friends and family, driving time. How much time does it take you to get from here to there, that we forget about sometimes when we're estimating how much time we have in a day? Then there's personal maintenance, doctor's appointments, hygiene, all that kind of stuff, dentist, et cetera, et cetera. That takes time. And then finally, home maintenance. Again, these are all things that we don't get paid for necessarily, but we've got to, clean our homes, fix things around our home, et cetera, et cetera. And then you look at the main categories in your business, like administration, your management, your finances. That takes time. Marketing takes time. Sales takes time. Producing your product and services takes time. Customer service, all the things in your business that takes time. And when you start to really look at that, it will and evaluate it, why am I not earning more money? Because all these other things are taking up my time. And what I would really like you to think about, the next time someone asks you to do something, or you volunteer to do something or whatever, thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time to do that, really stop and ask yourself, do I have the time? Because most times we don't, even though we start to think that we do. So here's 10 things I wanted to share with you to help you with your time. First of all, number one is to get momentum and take advantage of the steps that starting your day with morning momentum. It's really important. Number two is to pay attention to how you're actually spending your time. What are those time sucks? What are the things you enjoy doing that are bringing actual rewards to your life? Pay attention to it. They talk about keeping a time chart. I've always had a hard time doing that. But when you do, and you really start to see the things you want to cut out, so that there's things that you haven't had time for that you really want to do in your life that you can get done. The third one is to listen to your body. Keep your body at optimum health. When we're not feeling good, when we're not sleeping good, when we're tired, we are sluggish, and it takes us a lot longer to get things done. And, and then we get sick, and then we're in bed, and yada, yada, yada. So listen to your body. Take good care of your body. Number 4 is to remember that no is a complete sentence, and it's okay to say it on a regular basis. If you can't do it, you can't do it. If you don't have enough time, or what do you want to give up in order to say yes? What's worth it to you to say yes, to give up? But remember that no is a complete sentence. Number 5 is to ask for help. So often, especially, I'm going to say it again for women, we just think, you know what, I just got to do it all myself. Nobody does it as good as I do. Even if you get somebody in to clean your house, if you get somebody in, to help you, assist you in your business, even as little as 5 hours a week, it makes such a big difference. So really take a look at that. Number 6 is to, and again, this is for the entrepreneurs and small business people, is to know your customers' needs inside and out, so you're not wasting their time and your time giving them things perhaps they don't need, and not taking care of the things that they do need. Get customer service, so important. I can't say that enough. Number 7 is to understand your niche and the seasonality of your business. We all have different seasons of our business, that some of of you may have your business is steady all year through. Others, it's real busy in December. Maybe it's real busy in the summer months. Understand that and what your particular niche is so that you can plan around that time. You're not going to plan a vacation during a really busy season of your business, or that you're going to take on more business if you're already over, and that's what I see. Like, I used Nordic Track as an example earlier, and my fondness for them at this time. And what they did is in 2020, people were buying bikes left and right, and they just kept selling to people, and they didn't have the infrastructure. And over the last couple of years, I know they've sold, and there's some things going on within the company, which I've done some research just because it was really bothering me that I had always thought of Nordic Track as a great name in sports equipment. That is not the case anymore. So don't let that happen to your company because you ran out of time to offer service. That was number 7. Number 8 is to be grateful and share that appreciation. We all appreciate being appreciated. And so to really show that appreciation and to take the time out to show that appreciation is really important. Number 9 is to remember loyalty and give good content to your customers, as well as people that good content. We've talked about content a lot these days, and how even on social media is making the time to give good content. And I know that I will have many clients, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, that will say to me, I just don't want to do social media. And that's fine, but you're also missing a time to connect. And so if that's worth it to you, you've got to evaluate that time piece. And finally, number 10 is to do what needs to be done. Don't let procrastination take over and waste time thinking something over and over and over again. And again, I know that something with ADHD that can happen is procrastination can set in. And that's why just getting things done, making systems, putting systems around your business so that you can't procrastinate, that you've got to keep moving forward and keep it going. So those are 10 tips to help you along your way. A few other things I just wanted to share with you is that one of the reasons I created the Bright Shiny Object Planner, which I have also talked about in the podcast before, because I wasn't getting what I wanted done. And I've talked about the difference between just having to-do lists and to-dos, the things that I was excited that I got done every day. And that's the thing that I think really comes home for us, is that do we want to just be getting stuff done, or do we want to have a lot of to-dos in our life? And I don't know about you, I want a lot of to-dos. And I found that the combination of the planner with our Grow Sessions coaching program, which really takes people through how to use the planner, etc., really changed for me. Anything that I do for my clients, I do for myself first. Because I became clear and of what was moving the needle for me with my time, what I needed to get rid of, what I needed to add in, how do I make these adjustments so that it's more important. On Mondays, I do financial things, just like moving things around so that they work for me, to the point that I could actually then start helping my clients with it, so that their planners actually work for them. And too often, and I've seen this over and over and over again, people go out, they get a new planner thinking it's the next miracle cure for miraculously finding time to get the things done that we want to do. Well, it doesn't always work. And it's amazing. And the hundreds of people that I've talked to and coached around this over the years, that some didn't even open a planner. They'd gotten it and they didn't even open it. And they've just been limping along and then giving up. because the planner didn't work, but they never even opened it. So, and this is a variety of different planners that I have talked to people about over the years. And that's why I think that coaching along with the planner, like you've got accountability. You start talking it through. It's not just this solitary thing that you do by yourself. And so I really do believe that a combination of a paper planner, your electronic calendar, which is highly efficient, and some kind of coaching accountability is really the best remedy. And if it's something that you would like to talk about, I do offer a 20-minute free strategy session to start you on this path of honoring your time. You can go to businessvictories.com/free strategy. And I'll put the link below in the show notes as well. That's businessvictories.com/free strategy. And we could just talk it through and really what is your time sucks. I'll use that again, that you would like to get away from. And what are the things in your life that you really want to do, but you're not getting them done. Recently, I heard a quote from Gary Vaynerchuk, which I think combines the elements of creating confidence with your time. And he said that confidence and ambition is not delusional ego. It's a framework of perspective to try, dreaming and strategizing, and their execution. It's important. So I want to see you dream. I want to dream. And then how do we put that into effect? Brian Tracy also talks about that every minute you spend planning saves 10 minutes in execution. So an hour planning, it can save you 10 hours. So that planning piece, and that's really, again, why using a planner that's efficient will help you, because you've really planned through, I can't get to this for 3 weeks because there's no way, I don't have the time. And sometimes we try to cram it in. So again, just doing your planning. I just really would love for you to think of the times you say to yourself, time's up, and you leave something in your business or in your life incomplete one more time. Or that procrastination takes over because you're afraid you won't have the time or the tenacity to see something through. One day, a day that none of us knows when or how it will happen, our time on the planet is going to be up. No more minutes or hours to plan what we want to do are going to be available to us, and our time here will be finished. And it is with that in mind that I ask you to honor your greatest commodity, which is your time. My mother, Janine Landreau, wrote a poem we found amongst her papers after she had passed away. It's going on 14 years ago. And ironically or not, I was writing a book at that time entitled Victory One Moment at a Time. And it was my honor to open the book sharing this poem that my mom wrote. And I thought I would close this out of the podcast today with this poem from my mom. And she said, "Do not take this moment lightly, for it is the most important moment of your life. It is all there is of the present. Live it to the fullest, for it will never come again. All that has gone before it is a memory, and all that will come after it is only a hope or dream of future things. It is more than the beginning of tomorrow and the end of yesterday. Make it a great moment. It is your life right now, and you will never live it again." And with that, my friends, I say goodbye to you for this week's podcast, and we will see you again soon.